Greetings, everyone. Rev.Hawksblood here. Tina Burr is my co-host. I just want to say what's going on. We're going to get into questions. So let Tina say hello. Greetings, Tina.
Greetings, Tommy, and hello to everyone in Hawaii, Russia, the rest of America, the UK, and everywhere else in the world. It's the last show before Christmas now, so we're hoping maybe to do one on the 28th. If we don't quite do one on the 28th, it will be the week after. But Merry Christmas to everyone else there across the world. And Tommy, over to you to say hello.
All right, people. I'm in Hawaii. It's been raining so much lately. It's pretty bizarre. I got to go out and mow the lawn like twice a month instead of once, but it's pretty high right now. I did the outside. Now I got to do the inside. But we're having so many UFOs over us. If I go out, even if there's a clear spot in the sky for maybe 10 minutes, I can see something going through there. All my people that I have looking at the sky now keep telling me they're seeing things every night. Ships stop, go down, go sideways. So it's not you. It's not satellites, people. Don't let the government tell you everything's a satellite. First off, they're too small to be seen. 99% of them are too small to be seen by the naked eye, no matter what you do. And second of all, you won't see them in the middle of the night. Third of all, they don't have big spotlights on them or anything else. So, yeah, all of it's baloney. Now, shooting stars. I don't know if you watch shooting stars. We had a big meteor showers last week. But I watched in between them, there was all different kind of movements. Shooting stars usually go across the sky. Usually. But then when you see a short blip, which is maybe like an inch wide, you see blip, and it's like, what kind of comet was that? What kind of shooting star was that? There's so many different movements in these things. Some curve, and some do different things. Some come straight down. But I just saw this big ball come straight down last week, and nobody reported anything hitting anywhere or anything like that. So be open what you see in the sky. Try to film anything you see. Not that the government cares. I do. People, some UFO people really care what's going on, but they don't want to talk about it. So today I'm opening it for questions. Please tell anybody happy holidays. You too. Tell everybody if you can get them to call in, whatever. I'll take anybody on the show. Any questions pertaining to aliens or UFOs. And if we don't get any, I'm going to add questions myself, and we'll talk about them. But people, time to wake up. Now, Biden said he wasn't going to talk much about UFOs. They confronted him again. Trump should have, and he never did. So who are we going to rely on to give us information? Richard Dolan? He goes out with his own theories every week. He's online all the time. I've been writing him 1,000 letters. I sent him the link to come on. I know he won't. These people don't have the balls to discuss what they think they know or what they say they know. They rather say, well, I believe in the fairy godmother as well. Does that help anything? No. Does it help us with what's going on in the UFO world? No. It's growing. It's escalating. And people still want to know what the government's doing. How about what's happening to people like Tina? How about what's happening to real people like you and me? What's going on in our country, in other countries that the government doesn't even want to know about? Which they should, and which they should stop, which they can't. So people, this is about questions. If you want questions, please write them in there, call in. If you watch this when the show's not on live, text me, and we'll talk about them next show we do. We'll put the questions in there. We're open to any questions pertaining to it, not stupid questions, something that you feel is a real question that you want to ask. Not do aliens like popcorn. I mean, not something serious. What do they really like to eat? Ask good questions. We'll give you the best answers we can. I have a lot of work with UFOs directly and a few aliens. Tina been not working with, but dealing with aliens and chips and all that. So we got the information that nobody else is talking about, and nobody wants to contact me. Tina might get out there mainstream when she releases a book. People might see she's a real person and say, hey, maybe we should bring her to a UFO conference. Maybe we should get her out there speaking. Because she has more to say than 90% of those UFO people that say they've been abducted or are experiences. So with that, any questions, please put it in the chat room. Call your friends, tell them to call in, ask questions, whatever. Tina, do you want to say anything specific right now?
No, I just want to echo basically what you've said. I mean, There's a lot of things been going on around the world lately. Lots of sightings. Tommy's right there. There's been lots of reported sightings, and people sending film. I know some of them people make films, but today to get your phone out and record a film is so easy, and lots of people are doing it. There's no need to make up films. You can just point them in the sky and take it day and night. They're becoming more frequent. There's definitely something more to it going on. I mean, you've got all the volcanoes going off at the moment. You've got the sun movement going on. You've got the planet that's going to hit us. You've got the COVID going on. So there's many things going on in the world and around us, but definitely more UFO activity. Is that down to the volcanoes? Is that down to us dying? Is it down to something coming to our planet? These are questions that aren't being asked and should be. And again, what outcome is this for us? There's an American task force been launched. A bill was passed in like your parliament, in your American Senate, starting up a task force, I believe, to interview people, get to the truth, or find out about sightings, and also about the impact of abduction. But it's only on military personnel at the moment. What the after effects are of abduction, which this should be the top priority for them, for people, the general public like me and you, that are suffering from things like that, not just person who's paid by the government to suffer things like that. There's people in other countries that can't even speak out, they don't have the internet, they can't afford it, and can't afford the medical bills, that are suffering and that are in genuine pain, because let me tell you, it does hurt. So so there's lots of things going on, lots of things that aren't being talked about. And, you may think, oh, nutty people. What about the people that can't talk, that can't get their point across? That, like Tommy rightly said, there are people that in poorer countries that look up and see more things than we do every day, yet can't get it out, no social media. These things that should be looked at that aren't being looked at. They're just starting to profile and get it out there in the news. In a way, they've silently accepted UFOs by saying, yes, they've launched this task force. Yes, the next question is origin, where they're from, which means they've completely skipped over the step where, yes, to the public, have a big White House conference to the public and the TV saying, yes, aliens do exist. We do admit that, but they haven't done that. To me, they kind of skipped. They haven't acknowledged the suffering or the abduction or the trauma that general public have experienced. They've just gone straight for the military bit. So, never mind what you suffered, or the people that have been incarcerated because they've said they've seen UFOs, or the people that's been incarcerated because they've been classed as self-harmers, or they have damage to their bodies caused by abduction. They seem to have swept that over the carpet. Yes, it's a step forward because they're admitting it, and yes, it's a step forward now. They want to know out where they're from. But they are acknowledging that they exist because they want to find out where they're from. So, but again, they've carpeted over the general public, which was the big push, wanting answers. They've just gone for, well, let's look at the military side and military answers, when there's more than enough data in the public eye, if you ask me, Tommy.
Well, I just heard it's online. They're supposed to release 600 pages and like 200 videos. Well, let's see when it happens. See what videos they release. Are they going to release 200 more Tic Tac videos? Or are they going to release real videos of ships and things? And what are they going to talk about in the 600 pages?
They have pictures from people that have taken out in the desert in caravans of these UFOs landing. People have taken pictures inside UFOs. When they say people have been invited on board crafts that have taken pictures and that do have objects that have been given to them by beings from a different planet, or biological entities, or just another step in evolution. They have these objects, they have this evidence, they have these pictures. They're just not being released to us. We're obviously not worthy enough, even though 95% or 90%, I want to say, of some of their objects they've found have come from public phone calls, public coming forward, reporting things, crashes, and what have you, Tommy.
Well, I had a family just move in next door to me. They're family of the people that live next door to me. So now they moved into the house next door to them. So I just talked to them yesterday. They were abducted, and I might get them on a show. They said they filmed something, but there was 4 of them in the car, and then they said they saw this light and everything was crazy. So I might bring them on. I don't know them that good, so I can't say I 100% believe everything they say. I will talk to them for a while, show them my pictures and see. But if I feel they're real legitimate, I'll bring them on. But right now, I'm dealing with so many people. I have another. I can't go into all those stories. I got so many happening with people around me in the neighborhood, even about being abducted, lost time. People, lost time usually means you were abducted. I mean, unless you got the sickness where you die for an hour and you come back. I forgot what it's called, but if you have lost time, I mean like 2-3 hours, you can tell yourself you were abducted. Whether you want to believe it or not, that's your choice. Hypnosis would help you find it, and I suggest you go to a real hypnotist that you trust, not somebody just out to make money. And there's not too many of them that are real out there because they'll all tell you they can't make you do anything you don't want to do, which is a lie. They could do a lot of things with you when you're hypnotized, like feed you false information, which is something we have to deal with because the government does that to a lot of people. I mean, there was a special on a couple of years ago, and they had the government people on against the UFO people, and the government people said, well, basically anybody that has this experience, it's a dream because it's everybody dreams the same dream, and they tried to deny that it's even a real experience. But we have a problem, all right? The truth is coming out little by little, piece by piece, but if people don't piece it all together, it's not going to matter. You have to understand, aliens are from another universe, another reality. We got entities that come through dimensions. Now, they don't need a ship. So you can't say one's the other and the other one's the other. No, dimensional beings don't travel around in ship. They don't have to. Aliens eat food. They travel in a ship. So they're very much humanized, meaning they breathe air and they eat food. So there's a big difference between aliens and interdimensional beings. Most people that see ships are seeing aliens. So when they say, well, they could be dimensional beings. No, and the idea that they can go levitate or go through a room, they're not, that doesn't make them a dimensional being. We all have those abilities. We had them in Atlantis. We have them in between. If you hear these great masses were in two places at one time, those abilities aren't making them super beings.
So I mean, they also have frequency of light. Wasn't that when the one that came into my room, it came kind of through the wall. There's a bluey green light. It's a frequency of light that either obstructs or moves molecules or allows them to pass through it. It's obviously a technology we don't possess yet, but is this because they're using it?
Realize when we created quantum physics, Tesla created that in 1900. Quantum physics means going through the physical dimensions, and we could. There was a couple movies out about him. One was about two magicians, and they were using Tesla's technology, and he kept making the hat levitate, but it would disappear, and it was going outside in the pile. Yeah. But the idea that we were able to do that for 100 years already. So take any technology, multiply it by 100, and you got super technology. So the technology about especially this guy has a machine. He could film through walls, through buildings, and everything else. All right. The technology is there. Whether they admit to it, they probably won't, not anytime soon, especially if it pertains to weapons. And UFOs pertain to weapons, and that's why they don't have to tell us. I don't expect disclosure to tell us anything important. They can't. I mean, I'm going to go into a few questions, and because they're not asking them, I'll ask them and then answer them. But here's the thing, people. You don't have much time to get to the awareness you need to know about aliens, because we're going to be going through the Agenda 21, which is government-controlled, one world order. You're going to be so programmed in this little box, you're not going to care about anything else. Right now, we have a little bit of freedom to do and actually rebel against the laws, rebel against what Congress is doing and different countries, what they're doing. This virus, that's in court. Everybody's fighting. Well, we have to get them. We don't have to get them. They just blocked Biden's law about making everybody in the workforce get the injection. So they're doing the best they can, but we got too many things going on to take our attention off what's really important. Here in Hawaii, they've been shutting the telescope down so people can't use it certain times. Why? They're afraid they might see something. There's a lot of things in the sky, which I see constantly. And when I talk to a few people that worked in the oh no, we stay focused on a star, a planet. We don't.
Sorry to interrupt. what happened? Because what happened in America? What happened a few years ago when was it the FBI or the CIA or military went into an observatory, arrested everybody, and shut it down? Nobody was seen for a week or two, or they didn't give an explanation. They never gave an explanation. Do you know what actually happened? Was something
Well,
seen or?
well, what's happening is, yeah, if somebody sees something, hey, bro, check this out. You can't. They're not allowed to move their telescope to where they're not allowed to move it to.
Oh,
Or in certain areas, I say if you look at the Big Dipper, that's where I see a lot of ships come through it. Not that they're going through it, but they're like right over that. So that's a good place to look in the sky to see them. But when people see things, I just heard a whole story about that recently. That all these people saw this and they went in, they took them and they brainwashed them all. Uh, give me 1 second.
so I believe the best place to look in the sky, people, would
Oh
be
no,
Jupiter.
it's nobody. That's okay. Sorry.
I think Jupiter, if you turn your telescopes towards Jupiter, because I've seen a lot of things and whizzed past Jupiter and seen a lot of things there. But I think, like Tommy said, technology from over 120 years ago, talk about Tesla technology, was never developed by the government, never developed privately. I mean, where has it led us to now? If the aliens or biological entities or other beings have them, we have the ability to connect to their current, to connect to their Wi-Fi, to connect to their biological interface. If their ship is it obviously moves through a dimensional or transwarp or whatever you want to say it does. If we have the ability to sit in there and connect with that, they must either mentally do it or physically, biologically do it. Now, if we're taking aboard their craft, their ships, or whatever, their transportation, whatever they want to call it, and you can link or biologically connect to their link or their history or anything like that, then we must be chemically compatible or biologically or mentally compatible to their technology. We have so many, I've seen hundreds and hundreds of people up there. I can't be, and I know I'm not the only one that has seen things up there, been in their link up there. Anyone that's ever been in their link, if you ever get to be in their link, you will see it. They've got, it's hard to explain. They had this wall. They look like TV cartoon strips until you focus on it and you get closer. It's like you're pulled into a bubble in it, and it goes forward and backwards, and they can show you their history, what happened. They can show you other beings, and you get a glimpse of things like that. It travels so quick. You need probably a couple of computers to slow things down when they want to communicate or show you lots of things in one thing. It's done very, very instantly, very quickly. I couldn't understand or take out of it, and I just saw like glimpses is what I just remember. But we are compatible for that, and we do see that. So perhaps that's why they are drawn to taking us. Perhaps they developed from us, or they want to develop us to connect to them, or they want to use. Perhaps they've lost the capability of doing it and they need us to do it for them. I don't know. But anyone who's ever been in that link, at some point, once you master their link and how to navigate it, because they can sense, they know you're in the link. They can hear you listening, if you like. Once you're in there, you'll be able to, you can see anyone that's ever been in that link and navigate in different directions. So it's something to think about, Tommy.
All right. Now, for me, I got involved with UFOs in 1958. I was involved with them all my life. I dealt with thousands of people that have been abducted, been implanted, had their children taken away, and all that. Did I write books on that? No. I was just working with the people. I was doing past life regression, hypnosis, regression with these people. Tina's supposed to have it done because there's some information she doesn't know. But what I was saying, what I learned through that, and by talking with these people, in hypnosis, you're not going to say, well, I met these aliens, and then make up the story for no reason. Especially, I mean, I never charged money. I never charged money for doing that work. But a lot of these hypnotists charge money, make them say, okay, and then, oh, well, you're on a ship. And you can't feed a person information. which a lot of hypnotists do. Guide them and push them into a mold where the mind gets creative and puts stuff in there. So what I'm going to say, if you find a good hypnotist and you have missing time, I suggest you find out what happened, because it might open you up to what's really going on in your world. Oh, my phone.
Thomas, I've hoped to do that this year, but it didn't come off. It was booked, but it was double booked. And obviously, due to COVID now, I just have to wait till COVID's over to get it done. But at first, I was very skeptical. I spoke to Travis Walton briefly about it. And and he said, people all said to him, he was hypnotized. He went back so far. And then he said, because he'd had a heart attack, he didn't go back. And everyone has to make their own, assessment of that. And I come to the same kind of mind and understanding, but that's taken many years. I didn't want to know at first, and now that I have these gaps at the end, I do want to know. So that's hopefully something they can come and fill in the gaps that I will try and use to do. But again, my investigator, David Hodgin, is we're going to be sorting that out with Rob, the hypnotist he used. So yeah, so there are things people want to know, but I was terrified for so long about. I was so frightened of what I remembered, what had happened to me. I don't think I was supposed to remember what happened to me, and I was more terrified of what had happened to me that I don't remember. I don't think people understand that, because it is horrifying not being in control when things are operating on you. They're inside your body, they're inside your mind. You've got no control over anything. And you feel at any second you're going to die, and you're like, dog on a string, one yank, and it's all over them, all ways and one. So it's horrifying to think if you remembered that being awake, what is it you don't remember where you've not remembered or not been awake? It is terrifying. Tommy.
All right, I want to say this because the question in there, the God particle and all that, government's going to say a lot of stupid things, so will scientists. And they can't prove even when the first white race came to this planet, which it did. I mean, the red race came to this planet, the black race came to this planet, and they can't say anything about it. And they say ridiculous things like, oh, we all came from the black people, we all came from Africa. They say the most ridiculous ideas that they come up with the scenarios. The fact is, I have a lot more experience in certain fields in the spiritual realm, which we don't get into much on this show.
Sorry, I know what you just said there. Where did I come from then? Because everyone on the planet, as far as I'm aware, and David Attenborough and a lot of biologists are concerned, everyone for the last how many millions of years, hundreds of millions of years, or however long we've been, has been positive. I'm a rhesus negative. So where does that leave me?
All right. I don't know where. If we do, see, that's the thing. If you do hypnosis and you got an important person that's right on, you could get him to answer that for you. Because he could bring you back to when you were born, where you were born, what you remember after, before you. I took bad people back. Wait. I took people in their lifetime between reincarnations when they were floating, and then they were reincarnated again. Hypnosis is a great tool if used rightly. And they are protected, and they protect you when they do it. It could be the most dangerous thing on the planet if it's not.
No, but it was beyond. It was beyond that. It's not that I'm interested in past lives and things like that. I think there's lots of things us as human beings don't understand about how our brain function works, like lives, what happens after death, what happens when we die. We don't understand enough about that. And what I'm saying is, if like the Darwinism theory is, we all come from. Excuse me, I'm going to yawn at meeting. The Darwinism theory is, if we evolved and came from the same place, survival of the fittest, where did negative blood come from? If everyone on the planet, everything was positive, where did negative blood come from?
Well, there's like two other kinds of blood. One's like something.
No, it's got nothing in it at all.
Well, what I'm saying is, they're not going to explain that because they can't. They can't go into aliens. They can't go into how people could be an alien. I mean, Caroline Corey is talking about how people were actually implanted by aliens and all that stuff, and making it all sound good. But I'm not saying that's not all real, but it's not good. Big difference. What's happening to the world, just look at it. We aren't making things better. We aren't doing good things in a good way. We're destroying everything. And the whole UFO world, and I hate to say it, is going the wrong direction. They're not helping people. They're not bringing the real truth out. They're not talking about the things that are important. All I say to people like Michael Sala, he's in Hawaii where I am. And he's on a lot of shows. He's at all the UFO conferences. He's got a lot of books out. He puts a book out every month like Richard Dolan does. And they talk about what the government's doing. We don't need to know what the government's doing because we don't have to know, and we shouldn't know. Because when they're going to war, we can't tell Russia or China what they're doing. We don't have the right to. So knowing that's not helping us, but knowing that there's ships over us every night, they're coming down and beaming people up every day, stealing people from parks and places, that's important information. When you go to a park, when you go by yourself, you have good chances of being abducted or disappearing. Thousands and thousands of people disappear yearly in the United States.
It surprises me. The other side of that coin is, if we are being abducted so much and millions of people are not put back because there's millions of people missing every year, what and who are the military protecting apart from physical land? Are they protecting us? If so, then failing in that case, because that's not happening. We're being abducted, people dying, people are not being returned. Therefore, the forces are like special forces and people assigned to protect us aren't doing the job. What do we have all this military in place for if they're not protecting their human population? All this is done in the name of either sovereignty, lands, or laws, but none of that would exist without the population. If you don't have a population behind you, you don't need any of that. If you're not serving and protecting that population, there's no need for you. So again, why are they putting the emphasis on the military cases?
I had a discussion with somebody yesterday about that, and they were talking, well, you need a society. No, you don't. All right. I'm not saying Adam and Eve was real, but a society. I said, look at all the tribes that were on this planet that survived with a limited number of people together. A couple of years ago, I watched a special of a tribe. It was filming. Somebody filmed it. This tribe only had like maybe 40 people, and they only had food for 40 people. What they did, they buried 2 children, and they filmed it. He filmed it while they did it. And the tribe says, we can't feed them. We don't have more money. We don't have food. So they actually dug a hole, threw the children in there, and buried it, and it was all live. And during the night, he heard a scream. One of the child was this way and was breathing, and he got out of the hole, and he ran out into the jungle. Who knows what happened to that child? He probably learned how to survive without his tribal people. But what I'm saying is, we don't need a community. We don't need a village. We don't need a town. We don't need all the words that we say. We need a society. We don't need a government. All right. Native people didn't have a government per se. The women, the elders were the ones that determined whether they went to war or not. They all wrote it together to do things.
But that's before. But now technology's arrived. We're paying the total cost for all that. Not only in humanity and lives, we're physically paying the cost while working every day. We're paying for this military. And
why I was bringing that up is what's going to happen in the next 8 people. This is not a lie. This has nothing to do with UFOs, really, in this one way, and it has nothing to do with what you think. UN Agenda 21-30 is real. It was created by 193 countries years ago. And what it is, the steps to become one world order, what they're going to do, how they're going to eliminate the people, how they're going to create one control. And this is happening right now. This virus is a part of that. If you pull up the Agenda 21, all the steps for each year up until 2030, what they're doing, we're in phase 4. Phase 4 is eliminating population, building FEMA camps, and building control. And that's going to happen in the next 2 years. So it's not about what we think, what we want, what we care about, what we feel about. They don't care about people. They don't need 7 billion people to do anything. Trump is who knows where he's coming from. But Mr. Gates, his plan, Mr. Musk and his plan, Musk said, we're going to have all robots doing all these useless jobs. What's a useless job? A job that a poor person does? A middle class person does? How about let's eliminate scientists because they're useless? How about let's eliminate the people making the big bucks? No, this is all happening right now, people. And if you follow all the facts on the virus, you'll see what a scam, which way it's going, which is what's real, what's not. Every day they tell you how much of a person. My partner had a heart attack and died 3 times a couple of weeks ago. She got it right after she got her injection. Now they're saying if you get the one with the Moderna, you have a 40% chance of getting a heart attack. If you get the Pfizer, you have less of a chance of getting a heart attack. Less of a chance. Now, Johnson & Johnson, they're trying to outlaw it right now. But I just saw an article, and this is a fact, people, and I'm not making this up. The U.S. government was working on a vaccine for this virus in 2015. They were working with the top, I can't say the names, I'm not going to say the names online, working with a scientist that they called it the zombie flu. And that's what they were creating it. Now, there's like 20 labs in the United States, unknown where they are, that are working on viruses that have no cure. Why would they be doing that, people? Do you understand anything that's going on? Do you care?
Tommy is right. Not only that, very rarely do I read the newspaper.
We can get thrown off real easy, but go ahead.
Oh, no. This actually relates to that. There was something I pick every now and then. I pick up a newspaper. Not very often. A headline will catch my eye. I take it home and read it, and I read it thoroughly. This is the Daily Mail newspaper from Monday, October the 15th, 2012. And I kept it because this was the headline. It says, Armageddon virus. There it is there. Can you see that Armageddon virus? Oh, sorry. There you go. And it says, there you go. There's the headlines to it. Now it says it will start with a sneeze and sweep through the world. Why experts fear the disease that leaps from animals to humans will devastate mankind, and it will be in the next 5 years. That was in 2012. That's on page 33. So they thought then by 2012. So by 2017, they definitely thought. A professor from Oxford based his predictions and patterns and said that there would be a pandemic that would hit the world. I'm just trying to see. The symptoms would appear suddenly as a headache, fever, and joint pain or stomach pain, developing in larger areas, maybe some bleeding or bruising. It would also maybe 30% come from the Congo or other countries. There you go. And that was the 2012. There's the date on the paper of the there you go.
Sylvia Brown was a psychic in New York City. She was on a TV show every month. Montel Williams, I think, brought her on. Somebody did. But she prophesized 2 years before this virus comes. She said the biggest dangerous virus is going to hit the planet. It's going to be really bad. It's going to disappear, then come back really strong, and then disappear. But she prophesized that like 2 years before it actually happened. There's a lot of people that knew. I had a friend, Sergio Latine, I did all my UFO work. He said there's going to be a virus come down from space, and it's going to be big percentage of the planet. All right. But that's in cooperation with Agenda 21, because basically 7 billion people, they say we can't survive with that many people. We could if we worked together. If we helped each other where we need the help, it would be fine. Starving people, taking away farms and taking the money from the farmers isn't making the world better. And with Mr. Gates trying to eliminate all cows, most people like to eat meat. To eliminate cows, cow farts. I mean, there's many more things much more dangerous than that.
Well, hold on, Tommy. So I have another thing. Oh, that was also stuck to this piece of paper. I kept this from 2003. So this was the People newspaper, September the 14th, 2003. And they have a time and day for the end of the world. And this actually went, so I don't know if you know much about our parliament. So it was due in 2014. They said you'd see it would pass our world in 2014, and it did. So this, so like your Senate, anywhere you go to pass a law, we have House of Parliament, and anything that has to be passed has to go normally approved by the House of Lords, if I've got that right. This is a newspaper clipping from the day, and it's by Lord Sainsbury's. It was set out that an asteroid was found to be hurtling towards the Earth and will wipe out all human life within 30 years. They said that this thing is 1.5 miles wide and it's traveling at 21,000 miles per hour. 6 miles a second, this thing is hurtling towards the Earth. They said at 10 p.m. on Monday, the 19th of May, 2031, that the minister, so he's a cabinet minister, David Sainsbury, stunned the House of Lords with a discovery from astronomers. So this actually came from the science department, and nothing more has been said on it since. They said that it would vaporize, change our climate, and would send us into a nuclear winter, and it would mean the extinction of the human race. And Lord Sainsbury set out his fears and the plans what could be done to save the human race. There was no follow-up article. This has been confirmed by astronomers, as they said it would be seen in 2014, and it was. That is the only original piece of paper that I had. Nothing has been said about it since.
Tina,
followed up about it.
That goes together with 2031. All right. Basically, UN agenda is till 2030. So they create one world order, eliminate the population. But the things that go along with that in the United States and other countries, the underground cities they're building. All right. They know what's happening. When somebody puts that article out, you don't think the government listens and say, hey, let's check that out. And that's why we filter what the telescope can look at when people go up there. They can't let people see things like that. Like when that planet came in, and whatever it was, came in and out behind the sun 3 times. I saw it. I got one picture of it coming out behind the sun. What was it? They never said a word about it. All right. They know what's happening. They're preparing for it. They know they can't feed all these people. They don't want a disease-ridden planet. So one other thing I'm going to throw in there, people, which the UFO world doesn't talk about anything important ever. All right. Here's what happened. I met a person named Robert Morning Sky many, many years ago. I went on a vision quest with him in Flagstaff, Arizona. That's where they're cloning grays. Seriously. There's a base in the mountain. I went up to where the base was. I saw it. Where they're cloning the grays. Why are they cloning grays? Why are the grays cloning us? Because when there's a nuclear fallout on this planet, humans will not be able to stay above the ground. And that's why there's a beginning of the underground cities. Now, a couple years ago, when California had no water, all right, they had no water. I can't say people's names or anything, but there was a pipeline from there all the way to the underground city, pumping the water underground. And they're preparing for what's happening. What I want to say, okay, the New World Order has to tell you what they do before they do it. That's the first thing. They don't have to make sure you believe it. They just have to tell you. But the other thing is what I noticed, time's moving faster for most people right now. But things that are happening slower. Like when they say, well, it happened in 2017. It might happen 2 or 3 more years later. It seems like the events that are supposed to happen later. I mean, in the Bible, it says nobody will know the time and place. And that's basically what it is. If a government,
well, it's definitely end of days, Tommy.
Ed Dames, check him out, Colonel Ed Dames. He's a remote viewer. He tries to teach people how to do remote viewing. He talks about end times. Every year he says it's going to end. But every year he does this big conference, and he's packed solid. And he's selling his tapes, his books, and everything else, and he's packed solid, telling everybody the world's going to end. And his message is, you got to learn how to remote view so you know where you got to be when the end's going to happen so you won't be taken out. All right? But he does it every year, and he keeps saying the world's going to end this year. So, doomsday is going to happen. Revelation talks about it. But it's not going to be because Joe Schmo said the time's going to happen next week. Uh, just to show you, Sean David Martin, a good friend of mine, Sergeant 18, the person I did all my UFO work with, both predicted 9/11 was going to happen. All right? Nobody did anything about it when it was happening. Why? If I saw something that dramatic going to happen, I would be standing outside telling people, you go inside, you're going to die. All right? That's the way I would be if I actually saw that before it happened. All right? So psychics that supposedly super psychic don't help reality. Even Nostradamus, when he told the king he was going to go out and get javeled, he went out, got javeled, and got killed. So, if you can't stop anything, the prophecy is useless. So knowing that these other planets are going to crash into us, we're going to crash into the native people believe we're going to go into the sun, the Hopi prophecy. I dealt with the original Hopi prophecy, Mr. Thomas Binyaka. He carried the Hopi prophecy. It was given to James Keamy, then to somebody else, great grandfather David. I mean, it kept passing down, but it kept changing. But here's the thing, people. The Mayans dealt with aliens. They got the Mayan calendar, which was useless. All right. They give us useless information. Tesla was given technology. The technology he was given will slowly destroy the planet. All right. Quantum physics is not beneficial to the human race. Time travel is not beneficial to the human race. Because when you screw up time, you screw up everything. You don't screw up one little event. When we went back in time, which we did, people, I work with the only person that actually went back in time that I know, and I would believe him to the end, was back, and they killed somebody when they went back in time. And it changed the people that were in politics. He was offered $4 million. He's dead, so I could say whatever I want. I mean, he can go back on his grave, but I'm just telling what he was going through. He was offered $4 million to go back in time to kill somebody. All right? My friend Sergeant 18 wanted to go with him. Can I go? Can I go? Can I go? And he kind of like disappeared for 6 months. But when we saw him again, he looked at least 10 years younger. I mean, his skin was white. His eyes were closed. His hair's falling out. His white spots all over his head. He came back, pure pink skin. His eyes were like this, and he looked like a whole different person. So whether he took the $4 million or not, it didn't matter. He was killed. He told me when he can die. Because the whole thing about the Philadelphia experiment was a cycle of 20 years. He said, they can't kill me until the end of the cycle. At the end of that cycle, people, and this is real, from Canada down to Florida had a blackout one day. Not all day, but it blacked out that whole time frame. That's the cycle when it ended. He died a month later. All right. So, these people that talk about things, I was friends with ESETI. There was SETIs, the government SETI and a private SETI. And the private SETI was actually communicating with aliens already. And they didn't want that to get out publicly. So, and I'm telling you, they're gone and they're dead. Some people came into the office, injected them, said, you're going to die, people, to the SETI president and vice president. It was a woman that ran it. She went out to the reservation for 2 weeks trying to get medicine people to help her and everything. She came back and she said, I can't talk. I'm too sick. She died 2 weeks later. The vice president died at the end of the next month. But see, I know 15 people that died and were killed, or one was in jail, 2 were in jail, 1 was in a nut house. So in between all that, the top people in the UFO world are disappearing that say anything important. Bob Dean was probably one of the most important UFO people, but he died. And he had something really important to do, which he can't do now. So, but Fred Bell, who was on Jesse Ventura's show, 2 days later, he was dead in his hotel room. So the people that I was friends with were on top of it. Fred Bell worked with Billy Myers. Not all the time. He was on Fred Bell's friends' ships. He worked with the Pleiadians. He made a lot of inventions. Right now, he has his family is keeping his business going. He has pyramids. When I showed you that device on the other show I did, that little pyramid, the nuclear reactor, he was making all these things that actually purify you, protect you from rays from the antennas on the electric wires and all that kind of stuff. There's so much going on at so many different levels, and people are more concerned, well, should I get the shot or shouldn't I? No, you shouldn't. Oh, I'm going to get thrown up here because I said that. I'm just saying what I know for myself. I will not get it. Now, they say you have to tell people to go to the doctor, go to the hospital. I gave a cure out. I was banned from the internet for a while. The cure for the virus is simple, first off, and they won't let that out. Even the stuff that Mr. Trump said to take, the quinine water, is a good thing to use. It's beneficial. But outside it, I can't say much. Trump said that, not me. So, again, I had the actual cure. If you were dying, if you did this, rather than being put on a breathing machine, which puts water in your lungs, which will kill you, I mean, there's a simpler technique, similar but different. But again, the truth is there. If you want it, you got to search it out. The UFO world, the aliens aren't coming out talking to everybody. They're not saying much. They're not going to say what their agenda is. And then we got all these UFO. Well, they got a good agenda. They're going to help us. They're going to save us. They're going to do this and that. They're not doing anything for us. They never did.
Do that, they would have already done it by now. Believe you me.
Exactly, Tina. You know, and they always say, well, they're not all bad. Well, guess what, people? When a ship comes here, they're the people that the government allows to get on that ship to come here.
Jesus, well, if I've met good ones, I'll be frightened to death to meet a bad one. Let me tell you.
It would be so nice to see good, friendly aliens. But guess what? The race that destroyed Atlantis is not going to let that happen. All right. Now, the Mayans were working with a race. I don't know what race they actually work with. Same as the Egyptians. But I'll tell you this: pull up the Egyptian hieroglyphics in the pyramids and stuff, in the underground caves and everything. Their prophecy of reincarnation is ridiculous. The way they immortalized the body to reincarnate and all the things they did. Aliens were playing with them. They used them like fools. I mean, they made them work and they gave them stupid information, and then they told them they can reincarnate if they do these things. There's videos on ancient aliens, not ancient aliens, the History Channel and all that. How they rip the skull apart, they pull the brain out and everything, and they're going to reincarnate back into that body. Are they brain dead? You know, it's just mind-boggling how ignorant people are becoming, and it just seems at every level, spiritual level, religious level, relationships are deteriorating. Watch 90 Day Romance. I mean, I watch all them shows to see where we're going. We're going nowhere good. Even what the girl with 30 guys and stuff, and she has to pick one at the end to marry. I mean, watch what goes on in that series. They're pathetic people, and this is what children are watching and becoming. We don't have anything educational. We have nothing spiritual. We don't give them any real information. Just think, if children were working on the idea of real energy that we already have and work from that level, they can go much further than we are. Scientists are limited to what they're allowed to teach and build and create. They're getting paid to build this toothpick rather than build a house, build this marble instead of a building. I mean, they get paid to do certain things. Like these people working on these viruses right now, they get paid money to stay in this remote building to play with these viruses that are going to be toxic to the world. Why? People, wake up. Our lives, if you value your life, I'm on a spiritual end. Soul isn't this body, and I don't care if it's
understand mankind to create such a disease as COVID. They should be creating ways of making and sustaining food, not out to kill the population. But Tommy, on that note, because it's about 10:02 now, do you have your Geiger counter this week?
I had it. I had it too. I found it last week. I know it's here somewhere.
So, guys, I wasn't very well. You would also know the story. And Tommy, Tommy told me to get it. So I did. That's it there. I bought it on Amazon. It was about less than 20 English pounds. That's it there. Tommy has bought the identical one from Amazon, and it tells you the electrical magnetic field and in micro Teslas, and it gives you volts per meter. So to turn it on, I'm going to push that button there, and it's going to come on. Now mine is not beeping. Tommy's will beep. Tommy's will beep on his face because Tommy's, there you go, at the top is volts per meter. That's what you can see flashing on Tommy with the numbers, and that is because his screen is giving off electrical magnetic field. Mine is in either smart screen computer. And it's also not giving off microteslas radiation. So there's the sign there for electrical magnetic field. There you go.
One thing I want to remind you, try turning your meter around, because mine, when I point it towards the screen, it's 50. When I point it to me, it goes up to 120 and 140.
Nothing.
Because I guess the signal comes into the beam somehow that way.
No, absolutely nothing. So Tommy's will, so his is giving off electrical magnetic field and mine is not. Now, however, when I put this to certain parts of my body, my head, my leg, my chest, or my stomach, it does go off, not all the time, but 95%, 96% of the time it does. So we're going to give it a go today. Last couple of times it's just flash numbers, but it's been a while since it's beat, but you never know. And just sometimes a few weeks ago it didn't register anything. So we're going to give it a go. Hopefully, it shouldn't register anything, by the way, guys.
Don't say hopefully. You don't want it to register.
But... you don't want to register nothing. But you can pick up background stuff and things like that. So the closer it goes to me, it tends to go for some unknown reason. So we're going to go.
Radiation is not...
So, at the bottom there, can you see the numbers already going up?
People see it? That's radiation. All right. It's not supposed to be there. Radiation doesn't come and go. It doesn't multiply and shrink and disappear. What science knows about radiation. Now, I talk to as many scientists and people that are in field could actually try to answer the question, but they can't.
So, guys, can you really see the number now?
It's up to 66 right now on her head. All right.
So what the
dangerous zone of radiation in her head right now.
So when it's flashing red, it tells you that that's electrical magnetic radiation and is also a dangerous level. Don't forget, once you've had a dose of radiation, you can't take it out of your body.
It doesn't disappear. It doesn't come and go, people. But she is under the effects of all the symptoms of radiation poisoning. I pray that she stays around.
82, or you said 81 and 86 there.
But she's going through the symptoms. I don't know if you know what the symptoms of radiation poisoning are, but she has them all.
94 there.
It's crazy. Tina, that's the highest been in a while.
Yeah.
You said you see ships over your house a lot, don't you?
Yeah.
See, I tell her what I feel. They're watching her. They're going to monitor her. They got her children. They're not going to let her just disappear. And I don't think they're going to let her die. So that's just my viewpoint. I mean, but radiation, Tina, look, you're losing your teeth. You're losing your hair. You're losing your nails. You're passing out. You got all the symptoms, right? We know that, Tina. That's not a good thing. Plus, she had some incredible entity taking cut out of her body, which the government won't admit to. So I consider her lucky to be alive as well.
And me.
And her. But again, people, the government is not helping her. Medical department isn't helping her. And she probably should have more medical help right now than anybody else. Radiation in her head. How many people can say that?
Worse off for me that aren't getting any help whatsoever or getting any free treatment. This is the things that need to be looked at.
I mean, yeah, they might come and take a body when she dies, but who knows?
Thanks. Thanks for that.
Well, I'm being real, Dana. When you go to the I don't want to talk about it. We got to keep her alive. All right. And I know that they will, because she has a family on the ship and they're not going to let her go. So that's my viewpoint, Tina, and that's I won't change that.
Thank you, Toby.
We need Tina. I need her in my show. And we need her to get recognized because she's an important abductee. She is an important abductee, not a storyteller abductee, not a wishful thinker abductee, not a money-making abductee, not a super healer, super fantasizer. She's as real as it gets, as honest as she can get. So her book's coming out, everybody. Make sure you buy it and let other people read it. Send it to the UFO world. Buy an extra copy and send it to them. Send them to these people that, oh, the good aliens are here. They're going to help us. What are they going to help us do?
If they were good aliens, they wouldn't be taking me, and they certainly wouldn't be doing experiments on people without their consent. And there's a lot of moments, at least on 2 occasions, I thought I was going to die.
Somebody put about the Montauk Project. I was involved with Montauk personally, a lot of different levels. I did ceremony out there a lot, and I saw ships come down. They followed me for like an hour when I was on the road and things. The government was chasing creatures out in Montauk, and I'm not making this up either. I don't know if you know much about the Montauk Project. They lost the creature. They called it the Hershey monkey. I actually saw it. I mean, I can go into that. That's the worst serious UFO situation in the United States, and very few people can talk about it. I mean, you got somebody in New York, a writer, Robert Morningstar, and then you got Peter Moon. They write stories about it and this and that. They knew the two people involved with the Montauk Project and stuff, but they don't know the rest of it. They weren't involved directly with it. I saw the Hershey monkey. The day after I saw the Hershey monkey, I saw a Bigfoot. I was friends with people that sat in the chair, all right, and what really was going on. I saw ships over there. I saw what was going on. So it's real, a lot more real than the book will make it sound, even though they exaggerate the story. It is the most dangerous story about what happened. They opened a vortex in our dimension, which is allowing all this negative creatures, entities, and things coming into our reality. It's not just the ozone. It's our dimensional vortex. And they're opening them on many parts of the planet now, which is not helping us in any way. But CERN thinks they're going to be able to jump through that and go somewhere better and beneficial. Well, when that happens, we'll see. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon either. Tina, promote your book. Promote whatever you want.
So, guys, we're coming to the end of the year. Before I'd like to go and the end of the year closes, there's a few things I'd like to say. I'd like to thank Tommy from the bottom of my heart. Oh, bless him. When he found out about my story here in the UK, and then it was published in the UFO Truth magazine, and it was quite a big, one of the biggest ones in the UK. Tommy interviewed me for, I think it was Aquarian Radio or iHeart Radio at the time. And then we decided to get together and co-host a show together. And that's been over a year and a half. I want to say nearly probably 2. But it's been over a good year. And we've had lots of comments, lots of positivity. We also had some negative feedback. But we're not here about things like that. We're here to inform people about what goes on, what's happened to us. Tommy does his other shows and that, but I would just like to thank everyone this and last year for coming on to our show. If you've been a guest, thank you. If you've left comments in the comments section, thank you. And if you ask questions, again, thank you. And just thank you for being part of Tommy here on Encounters, and from me, E.T. Gail, Tina Brown in Southampton in the UK. But yeah, along the way, we've seen some stuff and people have sent some stuff in, but this is the book cover to my new book. Now, as a lot of you will know, I sadly lost my Siberian Husky, Nanook. He was my baby. It really affected me. So that's held up a lot, and some family issues, my publishing my book this year. But great cover done by a very lovely lady that I know. It's called The Bonded, The Truth About Alien Abduction. It's the Tina Bride Accounts. It's a licensed cover, guys. So there you go. That should be out hopefully now in sometime in the new year, all going well, unless the COVID strikes us again. And I do have a couple of other old books out, but they will be republished soon. And also a shout out to another abductee, Russ Kellett. I do have his book here. There you go. So Russ, I was speaking to Russ, and I interviewed Russ, and he's interviewed me. Russ Kellett is also a English author, and he's also an English abductee. He has his own stories. He's been in the newspaper, and he has his book, and you can buy that over Christmas or make it a lovely gift. There's the IBNS number on the back. There you go. And that's the cover of the book. It's a good read. So not only should you buy, if you're interested in abduction, aliens, about what happens to people, or generally interested, buy anybody's book, but don't take our word for it. Research, read everybody's book going. So read Russ's book, read mine when it comes out, read other people's accounts. You can draw your own conclusions to your own questions that you want to ask. Don't be led by anybody. We can only tell you about what's happened. Well, I only tell you about what's happened in my account, and that's all I can tell you. Because I can't add nothing more, because there is nothing more, and I can't take anything away. That I'm just telling you what I know, what I understand, and what comes from me. Russell's done the same. He also has some pictures in there, and as you go through his book. But yeah, that's available on Amazon, and that's the size. It's a very big size book. So shout out to him. There are some other good reads out there, but best things sometimes are also free. Tommy, if you have a look online, Tommy will put his email address up where you can contact him. You can also contact Tommy on Messenger, Facebook, leave a comment if you'd like, or a private message. And me and Tommy can contact you back. But Tommy has How to See and can talk to you more. He does lectures, he does workshops, anything like that. And he's written a free little booklet about how to see a UFO. So that's also worth checking out. But again, I'd like to thank all our viewers, all our followers, and I'd like to thank Tommy. But I would like to wish you all a happy Christmas for 2021 and a happy New Year for 2022. Please stay safe, look after each other. And again, if you have questions and we're off the air, please contact me or Tommy. We'll put together a new plan for the new year. I'm hoping now I've got Tommy's address and we will communicate more. I'm going to send Tommy a few more bits from the UK. It takes about 2 weeks to get to Hawaii. So if you guys would like to send me anything in the UK, you can send it to Tommy, send it here in the UK. And I will be sending Tommy some cards to give out to his friends or show viewers, and I'm going to sign some autographs on some pictures I have made and send them to Tommy if he would like to give them out to callers or anybody. I also have some NASA prints somewhere, some other bits I'd like to send to Tommy. So again, I'd like to wish Tommy and his partner all the very best for Christmas and the new year. Over to you, Tommy.
Well, Tina, it's been a pleasure. Have a happy holiday. Enjoy yourself. I know we had a lot of ups and downs, but hopefully we can get some happiness out of it till next week or whenever we actually get together again to do a show. Might be the new year. I promise you, any donations will be used wisely if anything comes into this site, because I want to make this better. StreamYard, which we use, is expanding technology that they're using, which is good. I could actually make Tina like an actual worker, not a co-partner that has her own show on it. I could do a lot of things right now. So there's a lot of things happening with our site. They're trying to make us bring more people in, which I've been begging them for. So that if we ever do a conference, we can have like 20, 30 people in there instead of just 10. So there's good things happening, but I've been pushing on StreamYard. I almost went over to Zoom, but I feel I've been here for a while. I'm going to stay here until I get a definite better answer to do something. But enjoy your holidays again, Tina. Until next time. It's always a pleasure.
I have a little Christmas gift card for you over the air, Tommy. When the COVID is officially over and world travel can begin again and things settle down a lot, I plan on making a trip to Hawaii to see Tommy. We can do a joint show together and have our pictures taken together, and we send you guys some.
That sounds like so much fun.
I will be saving for that. So you're looking at least a year to 2 years to get over the COVID. But I'm planning a trip to Hawaii.
I'll get you a nice place to stay for really, really cheap. Maybe even here. So don't worry about that.
Tommy, before we go, please put your address up for people who would like to send you an email address.
I put my email up already.
So just check out his email, guys. And he also has a how to see a free paper on how to see a UFO. But from me, happy Christmas for 2021 and have a very happy, safe 2022 New Year. And I will hopefully be back on the 28th of December or the week after, but I'll message Tommy. Stay safe, everyone, and thanks for watching. Thank you, John, and everybody else. Merry Christmas. Bye-bye.
Merry Christmas. Stay safe.
Bye-bye, and you.
All right, Tina Berg, great person. Now, her book's coming out, and I suggest everybody get it, read it. It's going to be in detail, which she doesn't get into detail too much. We did a couple times. I will get her to do it again in the near future because I wanted to get into all the actual experiences she had and I had to show you that we're not just here making up jokes and having fun for no reason. We don't tell jokes. I'm not a comedian. I'm not a funny person. I look at the world, what we're creating, what we're doing. Nothing's beneficial to the human race. Mr. Musk and I call the other guy Bosco are controlling our reality. He's going to be man of the year for what? Destroying the planet? Creating an internet that's going to destroy our vibration? All those kind of things. Do we want to go there? I don't, but we are forced to. We're forced to believe that we live by a constitution which was stolen from the native people. We want to believe it's beneficial. It was created for the rich people only. So where are we going, people? Are you aware of what's happening? The UFO world. I want to talk about that a few minutes before I say goodbye. Now, I used to go. I was lecturing with Sergeant 18 from 1996 to 2001. We split up. We had some kind of disagreement and argument and stuff, and we separated for maybe 9 years. When we got back together, we went on Kerry Cassidy's show. We did a show on her show for 9 months, people. We showed pictures of ships, creatures, entities. Some things I didn't agree with that he shot, but we put a lot of really outrageous pictures up there that nobody else shot that we personally did. So just to show you, Kerry Cassidy never even watched one of our shows. She never brought Sergeant 18 on her show. I went on a show a couple times. I debated about Atlantis and a couple different things. I don't believe in whistleblowers. Sure, they might have some truth, but why do they wait till they're so old to come out and tell the truth? Oh, a few young people coming out and telling the truth, but what proof do they have? Zero. We need people, if you're going to be a whistleblower, come out with truth. Sergeant 18 and I had thousands of pictures, were all copyrighted. He had a video of an alien that came up to him and everything. So we were beyond all the UFO people out there. And we were accepted around the United States. We lectured for global sciences. And they did 2 a year around the world and different around the United States. And just so you know, when we were doing that, a person was killed coming there every year, one of the speakers. So the government watched it tooth and fork what happened. I could go into incredible stories what happened during that time that I worked with Sergeant in these conferences. But the conferences now, this is what you got to think about. Famous people aren't super spiritual. Famous people aren't super alienated, meaning having alien experiences. John Lennon was probably the most famous person that I know that was actually abducted. Want to talk about that one day? Skype me, talk to me. But here's the thing, people. We don't have much time to get to the bottom of the truth that we need to. And I say there is a spiritual side, which is much more important than the UFO side. And the spiritual side is being programmed by the UFO side. Oh, the universal energy is not what you need to think about, become, or work with. All right, aliens are going to come here and teach us nothing. All right, they can't teach us anything about a God. They can't teach us anything about feelings and emotions. They have very little. What do you think they could teach us? Not about building more weapons. We got enough weapons for infinity. We could take out the world right now. Where are we going, people? You listen to these UFO people speak. Well, I think I work with people. I know what the aliens are doing, what they want, what they eat, what their main goal is. Here's the thing, simple. I'll break it down. Alien races need a couple things. Blood, human blood, not DNA, human blood, semen, ovaries, and least but not least, food. Means human food. All right? You don't have to believe any of that. You will in time, and it will be too late when you realize that that's the truth. They don't need us for our brains. They don't need us for our technology. They don't need us for anything spiritual that we do or religion. They don't need us for anything. They destroyed Atlantis, the most beautiful, only time the world was actually the Garden of Eden. People, do you care? Oh, well, I don't know. I don't believe. You can believe what you want. If you believe in Jesus, you even know what he was really teaching. He didn't come here to say, oh, I'm going to teach you about love. Love everybody. What's that mean? Oh, God. He couldn't say God even because people had no clue what a God was. The same as people today only believe God is this loving being that loves all of us. Really? You know, we have been programmed so bad. I did a show 2 days ago on being deprogrammed. Can you walk away from the programs that you are programmed with? Can you? Are you ready? Are you willing? Most likely not. Means reincarnation is in your agenda for the next couple of reincarnations because you're not ready to let go of that, and you need to. The new world that we're creating isn't going to be beneficial. I mean, if you watch the Jetsons and they have everything's flying around and all this stuff, machines that put out your food and all that, it sounds great. But think about it, people. Here's something people think stupidly about world peace. Imagine if the whole planet, say 8 billion people, loved each other. I mean, John Lennon might have got us there, but what do you think would happen? Would we all be having sex with each other? What would we be doing with each other if we all love each other so much? Men perceive love different than women. Men, if a woman touches them, oh, they want to have sex. Or if they smile or just kiss them, oh, they're ready. I mean, men perceive things so different than women. And that's why in all through history, love did not exist. I try to tell people that, oh, no, it was always, no, it wasn't. The way Egyptians sacrificed children, the way, I mean, marriages weren't the same, not even close. The woman was always the slave. Always. All the way back to Atlantis. In Atlantis, it was different. Women and men accepted each other. We were gifted we had 32 psychic abilities, which Jesus came into this world with as well. We never abused them. Mankind abused it right away, and they were all taken away. When Atlantis went down, you want the history? Do you care? You want to believe the Anunnaki story? You want to believe all these other stupid stories? Go into your past lives. Learn what they were, what you were, who you were, where you were, how many years ago, what time. Learn about who you are as soul. And you don't have to ask questions like, well, when 9 races were brought here. 9. 5 left by themselves, the colored races. Not black colored, but colored races. Blue, purple, green. Those kind of races left. The 4 races, black, yellow, red, and white. All right, white, not really a race. It's a shade of brown. But all the races that are considered white race are shades of brown. Well, it's almost white. There's no such thing as white. White and black are just shades. How many primary colors are there? Do you know anything about life, history, or science? It's all lies what you're being fed now. Pollutions, chemtrails, all those things are destroying it. The HARP system is the most deadliest weapon on the planet. We got 1 in Hawaii. We got 2 in Hawaii. We got 1 in Alaska. Truth's not coming out about that. I got a 50-page letter sent to me in 1 day from the government about the HARP system when I called the White House up from the phone company where I was working. I mean, I've always been on top of everything that's happening. And what's happening now, there's just so many things happening with this virus and these more viruses and the people dying and all these UFO things happening. But the truth is not there. If you want the truth, come to this show, ask questions, come on. If you got anything for really important to say, please come on. I'm not just saying to come out and say, well, aliens are real and things like that. What proof you got? What did they do for you? I was lecturing in the UFO world. I met one person pretty famous, and he said he works with the Nordics. And I said, well, how can you prove that? Because I was in a car accident and I was outside my car and they saved me. I said, okay, what else did they do? He couldn't name one other thing. It's like Satan. When you take Satan's hand, what do you think he gives you? Anything you want. What's he take from you? Your soul. Meaning you can't leave planet Earth. You're attached to it. Your karma's bound here for a long period of time. So you can believe in what you want. If you believe in God and you believe in angels, you need to believe in Satan and aliens. If you believe in aliens, you need to believe in all the other ones as well. If you don't believe in any of them, I feel sorry for you. You'll never reach a place where you're going to be able to reincarnate with knowledge and awareness of all the lifetimes you had before you came here the first time. All right, what you are as soul, what abilities you will have when you leave this realm. People, if you become aware, not spiritual, there's no spiritual people on this planet. Sorry! People want to believe they are, dream they are, and say they are. Prove it. Name one thing that makes you spiritual. The world's condemning themselves. But people like Tina, she's not a religious person. Why should she be? Nobody's protecting her. Nobody's helping her. Who should she put her faith in? She trusts me. I won't do anything. I do anything I can to help her get her truth out, help her to be as real as she can. I told her to write a book right before she did. I said, you need to write your own book. I said, you don't need to promote anybody else. I mean, she likes to help other people. No, you need to help yourself. And that's what life is about. Helping yourself become aware of what you are, not what you're not. You're not a program. You're not a robot. You're not a slave. And you're not a human, really. You're a soul. You don't need a human body to be soul. You can let it go of it any time. So there's a lot of things, people. Do you want to deal with it, or you want to live in la la land, which I say most people do? Most of the UFO world are ballless people, meaning they have no ability to stand for what they say they believe in. I challenge every one of them. I say it to their face. I say it to them online, email, every which way. I'm trying to get in touch with Luis Elizondo for 4 months. He claims, I will be friendly. I will be this and that. I will try to talk to everybody. And he won't even reply to me. Whether it's because the government has complete control over him, which I truly think they do, because he doesn't say anything really important, or he didn't yet. All right? I saw an alien. I was next to an alien. I was next to a ship. Can he say that? Did he see one? I mean, seeing one, everybody can see a UFO if you go outside at nighttime. Just look. My book, How to See a UFO Field Manual. It's free. It's about 200 pages. And if you follow half of it, you'll be able to see a UFO if you do what I tell you to do. If that's what you want. At least if you see one, you might change your attitude towards it. Well, there's aliens, but they're not here. I mean, they are here. And they're not doing anything beneficial. They have never. Tesla worked with an alien race. Einstein did too. Einstein was given a lot of false information, though, where Tesla was given 200 inventions. 200. He didn't go to college and say, oh, now I can make 200 inventions and come out and do it. Create quantum physics. Create time travel. That's like thousands and thousands of years ahead of us, or was ahead of us, until he brought it out. It was a particular race. I do not know what race he worked with. I'd do anything to find that out. All right? Because then I know what race we got the most trouble coming from. I mean, we got the reptilians, the Greys, the Nordics, the Mantis, I mean, the Draconians. I'm not going to say all the supposedly good aliens, because they're not doing anything good for us. They can't. Power, can we do anything to the government? No. Can they do anything to us? Yes. Well, with that, people, wake up. We don't have much time. UN Agenda 21-30. Pull it up. Read what's going to happen. Read what's happening. Read why it's happening. I don't make things up for fun. I'm not making it up to get paid to say it. If I was a liar, if I could tell you great stories, I'd be a millionaire. But I don't want money. I mean, a little money is helpful, but I mean, I don't want to be a millionaire. I don't want to be a liar. Ever. My spiritual place is not here. You're not spiritual when you stay in hell. Want me to convert all the demons and make them into angels? No. You don't become an angel when you die. The delusional ideas that people have are so far-fetched, it's crazy. But till next time, Tommy Hawksblood here. Please, if you know anybody in the UFO world that has any balls and has a name, please let them come on my show. I'll go on their show. We'll talk offline if they want to debate their truth and learn the truth. Am I conceited? No, I'm not conceited. I just know what I know. And I'm an aware being. I had 5 death experiences. I spent 45 years traveling out of my body. I know about deities, angels, entities. I did exorcisms, so I know about all of it. How many people can say that? Well, somebody asked a funny question. They said, was I ever in a conference where there was an actual alien there? I know a person that actually had an alien there at the conference, but she was working with doctors and lawyers. 125 doctors and lawyers that have all been abducted, and an alien came to it. But what I was going to say, Sergeant 18 and I lectured for Global Sciences. And we got there. One person started it, I guess, and there's an alien here. There's an alien here. And it spread out through the whole conference. And so happens, I said, okay, let me talk to the alien. When I talked to the alien, it said certain things to him. I can't hide the lies. I mean, I can't hide the truth. I can't put lies out there. I said something about Sergeant 18. You said that? I said, I only tell the truth. I don't lie. That's when we split up. All right. It was at that conference, at that thing, all because of these supposedly two people that were supposedly being aliens. I talked with them and everything. They kind of said they were and all that, but that doesn't prove anything. But I know that this other conference, there was an 8-foot something being there that was an alien. So they're not here to be friendly with us. They're not here to help us move forward in any way, really. They need food, and we're a great food planet. But again, they don't need 8 billion pieces of food to eat either. So they're not here to save us. And it's like God created hell for a reason. The bad people will stay here for a long period of time, reincarnating over and over. But, the doctors and lawyers that had this conference were all trying to relate to what happened to them. They had no clue. Some of them said they felt psychic. Some of them had psychic abilities. Some of them were just still depressed and all these different things. When you see an alien, whether you believe it's good or bad, when you see one and you're next to one, your life completely changes. Because it's not like the fairy tales of the Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, and Superman. Now you're facing a real entity. All right? And it changes reality. It started for me at 6 years old. So people, if you're interested in seeing a UFO and you haven't, I'll send you my ebook. It's free. It's about 200 pages. I get into some things, but if you read it, you'll get the general idea and you'll understand the easiest way for you to go out and see a UFO. I mean, as far as getting abducted and all that, that's something totally different. All right, people. It's late. I'm sorry I was a little late. Lots of things going on in my world here. But till next time, peace, love, compassion. Hope you get what you want. Don't give up. Don't stop searching. Never give in to anybody else's viewpoint unless you know it's real inside yourself.